want to say that I am full month of Celsius. So I gave it up. I have eradicated Celsius entirely.
I almost don't even want to like
give me credit
because
exactly.
like
I was slamming Celsius, man. It was no bueno.
Yeah, and you were stealing my Celsius too. And
but I always replenish them. Always.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Bro, yeah.
Welcome back to the Jack's podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm also Jack.
And this is the last episode of the Jack's podcast that's going to be filmed in this room.
322.
The K room 322. It's a sad day. We are moving out this week. You are leaving in approximately 12 hours.
Hello? See you later. Peace out, Brendan.
Peace, man. Bye.
That's our future roommate, in which we will be living in.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know. We got to bleep that out. We can't leak that information because, like, I don't want a bunch of fans, like, rushing our door and stuff.
But this setup will look approximately the exact same.
Yeah.
You won't even know that.
Same couch.
It's the same couch,
wall. Yeah.
The same stock Chapman couch.
Yeah.
Same white wall. So, yeah, it'll look exactly the same. But for us, it won't be the same.
It won't be the same. It'll never be the same. At least it's not a freshman dorm, man.
Yeah, if this were in a freshman dorm, our living room is bigger than a single freshman dorm, which is crazy. And so if we were filming the podcast there, it would be rambunctious.
Absolutely.
And I have no idea what we would do. But, yeah, we're going to be moving online for this podcast. We're going to be...
Yeah.
We've got some crazy ideas, but we can't tell them just yet. But
some crazy stuff in the works.
Yeah, you got to be looking forward to the month of June because something is in the works for that. But, yeah, I had 2 finals today. You had 2 finals today.
Had 2 finals. Had to present like a 5-page, or actually like a 7-page paper that I wrote. Then I took a final in 30 minutes and wrote a 500-word essay. And I was at In-N-Out and I was like, yo, it was a terrible day to be a English 256 essay. And the fellows were clowning on me. They were saying that are you sure it was a terrible day? And, you know, a couple minutes ago I got the news that I got an A on the paper. So it is a terrible day to be a 256 paper.
Wow. You know what else it was a terrible day to be?
Your accounting professor?
No, a Com 219.
Com 219 professor.
Final. Dude, I pulled up to this class and like the final, we had like 2.5 hours to do it, and I did it in about 25 minutes. And then I had to study for another final, but I wasn't planning to finish that early, so I kind of just sat there for like 10 minutes, just kind of pondered.
It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. I'm not going to be a sophomore anymore. I'm halfway through college.
That is wild. I was talking to my mom the other day, like, I'm really halfway done with this, John.
This is ridiculous.
And like, so today's Monday night. Tuesday, I have an 8 a.m. final and then a 1 o'clock flight back to Connecticut. And I'm also waking up at 6:30 to run a 5K with Crosby. So I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know the last time I woke up at 6:30 straight up, unless it was some spiritual warfare. But
I don't know how you're gonna last. Like
on the run?
No, just in like tomorrow, because like you're probably gonna go to bed at like approximately 3 a.m.
Two.
And then you're gonna wake up and then you're gonna run.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be asleep on the drive over to the airport.
I definitely won't be asleep on the drive over to the airport, but I did kind of like strategically schedule it so that I'll be asleep on the airplane for sure.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'll get like 4 hours of sleep, be exhausted from the run, exhausted from the final. Terrible day to be an English 223 final tomorrow. Gonna absolutely demolish that, Joanne Levine. You're the GOAT. But yeah, I'm super stoked to get home, and that's what we're talking about today. You know,
Going home?
We'll see. A lot of the people have been dying to know, Jack, how do I stay in touch with the Lord Savior Jesus Christ over the summer? I have found it that in my life last year, it was a little difficult to stay in touch with God because I wasn't actively showing up to a community every week where, you know, we're talking about God and having Bible study regularly. There's no like intervarsity events over the summer. And it's important to stay in touch with God and not to fall out of a routine with God. So we're going to be talking about some of our favorite ways to stay in touch with God. No, nothing long, nothing crazy, just talking about what it looks like to develop a routine. So how do you get into a routine that you are able to continuously be in the presence of God over the summer, excluding just going to church, which is important?
Yeah. So I think the first thing before getting into it is like it takes 21 days to build a habit. And so
or break one.
That's true. But I think given that like we're still in the month of May, it's like,
yeah, you got time.
Yeah, by the first week of June, you can, or second week of June, you can have a habit of spending time with God. So I think the first way, and I'm going to challenge myself on this too, is like set apart 15 minutes first thing every morning, 15 minutes of just sitting in the Word and meditating on it. And I think like people, like reading the Bible looks different for everybody. But I think for me personally, I'm going to just meditate on a short passage, like not a full chapter, but just maybe like a verse or two if it's really potent, or a passage. Just because I don't want to just like read a chapter and then shorten the time that I spend in the morning by saying, oh, well, I read the chapter, there we go. So I want to sit on something relatively short, maybe like between 2 and 5 verses, and just meditate on that for 15 minutes and just spend time with God praying. And specifically first thing in the morning, because I think it's really important to like just set the mood for the day by starting it with time with God. I have developed the habit of spending time with God before I go to bed, and that's probably my best habit, is just like journaling for 30 to 45 minutes every night before going to bed. And there's nights where I miss out on that if I stay up till like 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
But with those exceptions out of the way, I always do it. And it didn't just happen one day. It's like I had to consistently do it. And I started doing that about a week and a half before our winter break ended. So that's like halfway to the 21-day mark.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got back to Chapman, I just kept doing it consistently, and it became a habit. And so I think, just waking up and spending time with God before you do anything else, before you check your phone. If you don't have a physical Bible, you only have the Bible app, go get a Bible.
Yeah.
But like no phone, no like daily routines, like just time with God. Like I think that's just the best way you can start your day.
Yeah, I've been really strong. I think it's a lot easier to go like to spend time with God before you go to bed, because there's nothing you have to do other than go to bed. But it's like in the morning, like it's tough when you have to like go to class. You're like, I don't know if I'll have time for God to do this. Like, I don't know if I should just go get ready or if I should just do this. And just at least like 2 minutes in prayer, just like being able to sit and think with yourself is great. This morning I had a final, and I was also like, it was like 7 a.m. I was awake. So I was like very, very tired. And I was like, I'm so tired, God. Like right now, this could be an opportunity where your strength is made perfect, because I'm weak right now and I don't want to go to this final. I don't want to go do this. And it was just like a nice way to remind myself that like God's going to carry me throughout this day. And it's definitely, I'm so looking forward to being able to just like sleep with my phone in like a different room, because it's almost like habitual to like wake up and just like pick up my phone. But now that I don't have to like set alarms for anything other than like one day a week when I go to church, it's like I'm looking forward to it, to being able to do that.
Yeah, that's really good. Like I think that's such a great habit of like not charging your phone in your room.
Yeah, I might honestly try to get like a physical clock for next year.
You should. I have one. Not here, but at home, I have one.
Yeah, no, it's so bad, because it's like you do have to, like when you have this alarm clock, like you on your phone, like you pick it up and it's like, then you see like a bunch of different text messages.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff,
see it the
and you
second
get distracted.
You turn it off.
And it's like that's like I've been actively choosing to spend time with God before I like look at my phone, but then it's like you can't avoid that. So it'd be really cool to see if I can just like get into a routine. Hey, maybe in August I'll get into a 21-day routine.
Maybe.
Of a physical alarm clock.
I will be holding you accountable to that.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what we're supposed to do. But all right, so we've talked about like spending time first thing in the morning. What else do you think is good?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there should be some sort of structure as to like seeking out people that are wiser than you, whether that's watching this podcast or no, or going to like most. I know at least your church offers like a Bible study. There's every week. There's a Bible study for my church like every Wednesday, and it's important to go into that community as well as like also Sundays being able to go, and just like meet if you do have friends that are spiritual, like wherever you live. It's very important to like connect with them and like have that community that you have at school. If you do have that, that's kind of low-key gonna be tough for me because like I don't really have spiritual friends back home, and ever since I started taking faith seriously, like I haven't had the opportunity to like go to church and like find that sense of community. So I'm curious to see like what it would look like, and I might want to like try to go out and meet some people at like a youth group at one of my churches. But like joining a youth group is like probably very good.
Yeah,
you can testify to that more than I can.
That's really tough though, like being in that position. And like the hardest thing to do is just get yourself out there and make yourself do it. Like it's so uncomfortable, especially when like you're as young as you are, or just in general, like we're as young as we are, and we're putting ourselves in a place where everybody is significantly older than us. Because like it's not super normal for there to be a lot of young people at church, at least like 20 to 25. Like
it should be though.
It should be, but like Vive very recently started doing a young adults hangout because there is enough people to have young adult hangouts now. But before that, there was probably less than 10 people who were of the age 18 to 22. And so but I think even though it's uncomfortable to put yourself in that position, it's so worth it. Like I know this past summer and this past winter break, just being in a men's small group with a bunch of dudes who are older than me, wiser than me, it's so fruitful. Like not only are you just picking up on what people are talking about, but you're also developing relationships with people there. And it's just a spiritual, supernatural thing for all of us to be connected in that space because of Jesus. It's like we're not there because we like the same sports team. We're not there because we're all studying the same thing or we all have the same jobs or whatever. It's like we're all there because we want Jesus. And the age range from the small group is from like 18 to 50. Like it's so crazy how a group that diverse can come together because of Jesus. And so I think it's a great idea to surround yourself with wise counsel and just people who know the Lord so well and who have been walking with the Lord for so long, who've probably gone through things that you've gone through or are currently going through, and who can be there to support you and pray for you. And I think that's another one of the most important things you can do, especially for summer where it's like you're switching environments.
I'm so excited for the head pastor at my church is like incredibly, like one, just a very good pastor, but like very spiritually wise and knows a lot. And the Bible studies are like exclusively on Wednesdays, so it's like I obviously cannot go to that because it's like I'm in college, so I'm like across the country, but I haven't had, like, I got to go once, I think, even if I did go over like spring break. So I'm really excited to go to that. But I think if in my position where I don't have that kind of community where like there are spiritual people around me, it's important to like stay in touch with like the community that you do have. So it's like people back, like in my case, like California, I'm gonna try to do, I stayed in touch with Crosby over summer, but literally like not with you at all. But it's like honestly way different because winter break we were like in touch a lot.
We played Fortnite every night.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, dude. I'm getting PTSD, bro. Dude. All right. But like over winter break we just became great friends, like way more great friends than we were before. So I think hopefully it'll be the same, and like maybe just like gathering the men of like InterVarsity to just like once every 2 weeks just like talk and like check in, not like a Bible study, but just like being able to talk with one another, I think would be like a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And it's like there's a small enough amount of guys in InterVarsity where pulling that off would be
pretty
fine.
easy.
And it's like it wouldn't be a 15-person Zoom call where
Yeah.
it looks like a classroom. Like it'd probably just be 5 or 6 people.
Yeah,
total.
there's just not enough men in there. There's Jesus, Graydon, me, you, Crosby, Brendan. So like 6 people. But that also like allows for like a more like intimate like sharing space, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think also throughout like the day, just like you can start your day with God, but definitely like have some time where you do dedicate time to reading like whatever you think God wants you to read, and not just like we talked about like a while ago, like aimlessly reading. I also think fasting is like a great way, at least once a week, to just like really be in touch with God. And it's like the entire day, because you're hungry, you're going to be like reminded like this is for God, and it's like I'm so close to him in this process. I guess the biggest thing for me that kind of like strayed me away from not strayed me away from God, but just hindered my like relationship with him is like how slippery of a slope like missing a day of like journaling can be. Like over the summer I would like write, sometimes if I'm too tired, like on my phone I'll just like write a Bible verse and then write like what I'm feeling in association with that, or like what I learned. But like I can miss it, and then I'll go like straight up like 28 days of just doing it on my phone and not like intentionally spending time with God. And even like over winter break, that's something that I'm like guilty of. So how do you think you should like fix that and lock in?
I think the word I'm thinking of is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like you got to treat these things that you're doing as non-negotiables.
Not
like,
to the point of like religion, like where it's like a religious activity, but like recognizing like it's okay to like miss one day, but it's like you're supposed to be at church every Sunday.
Yeah.
You're supposed to like have these non-negotiables.
Yeah. And it's like, I know it's like near the area of like religious, but
Yeah.
when you don't feel like reading the Bible,
Well, yeah, that's when you should
do it. And when you don't feel like journaling and praying, you should do it. When you really don't feel like going to church, you should do it. If there's genuine circumstantial reasons,
Yeah,
like
like
you're
sick. Yeah.
or like I can't think of anything else, but like if you're sick, like obviously you're not breaking your non-negotiable by not going to
such a
church.
slippery slope, bro.
But you gotta like, yeah, it's kind of like a gray area of like, oh, does this count as, am I just being religious about it, or is this a valid reason to not journal tonight, or not
Yeah, you'll
pray this
also
morning?
know, because there's like always like, at least for me, it's like the Holy Spirit of God. It's just like you can give like a more time than that.
Yeah.
Of just like really quickly looking at like the verse of the day and then writing something down.
Yeah, and if you spent probably just 30 seconds assessing if it's a valid enough reason to not do the thing that that you should be doing,
It's
you
not.
probably should be doing it. And so, yeah, I think just making your habits non-negotiables and not breaking them under like almost any circumstance is really important, because like your relationship with God is not casual.
Yeah.
It's not a casual faith. That's where burnout comes in. That's where fruitless reading of the word, fruitless prayer, that's where that comes in, is when you treat it casual. And it is casual to treat stuff like reading your word and praying and worshiping God. It's like to treat that as a non-negotiable and treat it as something that sometimes you can do, sometimes you can't do, and that it's really like you make a lot of excuses why you wouldn't do it. To treat it that way, that's where like burnout comes in, and that's where you won't see any fruit bear from it. And so it's really important to be intentional about it. And like even when you don't feel like doing it, like pray to God and say, Lord, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, you can be honest.
Yeah. And then like I think God will meet you there. I know God has met me there where there's times where I've said, God, I don't want to go to church today. I don't want to do this. Or I wake up and I say, God, I don't want to do this. I want to call in sick. I want to do this instead. I don't want to go. Or I don't want to read my word today. I don't want to journal today. And then I just give it to God, and I have some of the most fruitful journaling nights, some of the most fruitful reading of the words, or some of the most monumental church Sundays. And so I think, yeah, just being really intentional and not being casual about your relationship with God this summer is a great way to maintain just the consistency. And I think it comes down to like how much you fear God.
Well, yeah.
And how much you really revere him. Like if you really see him as who he is and how holy he is and how wonderful and amazing it is to be in a relationship with him,
You'd be giving him like every day.
yeah, you would. It wouldn't even feel like a chore. Like it would feel like such a blessing, and you would wake up and want to do it. And so, yeah, I think that's just another way, like working.
Yeah, I mean,
the fear of the Lord.
And also in like relation to that, I think also just having like somebody that can hold you accountable.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
really good.
that would be like probably something that like Jack and I will do, just because like it's really easy to deceive yourself, but it's like a lot harder to lie to somebody and be like, yeah, like I've been spending such good time in the Word. And it's also like if you are having kind of like a disconnect or feel like far from God and are like starting to go down that slippery slope, like you can have people like redirect you back onto that path. But if you're like surrounding yourself with like your hometown friends that like do not know God or don't care about him, like they're not going to be able to redirect you because they're not going to necessarily care. And I think it's like also like important to say that obviously it's like it does come down to like how much you fear God and like want to be able to spend time with him, but it's also like a real thing to not always want to spend time with God. It's not like gonna be perfect. Like there are plenty of times where I'm like, oh, like I can't wait to go like read the Word today, and just like there's gonna be times where you're like, I don't want to do this. Like I think like I have good stuff going on in my life, like I don't need to go and like spend time with God today. Like I did it just fine by myself. That's like a way that just like the enemy can trick you. I also think since like most people, if you're not associated with like a music band, will only have the opportunity to like worship once a week at church. I was driving today, just like driving Jack's car to go drop stuff off in a storage unit, and put on like worship music, and one of my favorite things to do is just like sing in the car like by myself, just like praising God, like usually when I'm like driving to the gym or something. So I think just stuff like that too is like very important to like, if you're going somewhere, like toss some worship on and just like spend time like praising God.
Yeah. I think like, praise is a weapon. And so it's like when you don't feel like spending time with God and it's getting hard and like life's getting hard, I think praising God in the midst of that is so powerful, not only like for your circumstance, but just for yourself and your heart. Like it's so edifying when like life is hard and you're praising God super hard. And like you were saying about praising in the car and like singing in the car, you don't have to limit worship to just Sunday church worship service. Like you can do it in the car, you can do it in the middle of the night, you can do it on a walk, like you can do it anywhere. And so just doing it when you like can, like, and not treating it like a stigmatism of it's only in Sunday.
I also forgot to add, it's just like I was like starting the drive and just like clicked on my liked playlist, and like I'll be honest, there's like a ton of secular music on there. Like I'm trying to work on it, and I was just like, I could turn that on, or I could turn like worship on, and there was just like something like nudging me to turn it on. And like when I literally like had a moment of reflection, like after like 3 songs, I was like thinking about the fact that I'm like leaving school and stuff, and like I was like started to like praise God like in my own head, like thanking him for like the community and like friends that I have like in like that I've made over these past like 2 years, and like it like opened up a time for me to like worship him aside from just like singing praises, just like being able to recognize and like have my mind transformed. That would not have happened if I was listening to Champagne Poppy. Like it would have been somewhere else. So I think that those like worship spaces like create opportunities for like the gates of heaven to just open up and like pour into your life.
Yeah. Well, that's it's like 3 things, right? Spending time first thing in the morning,
A routine of church,
routine
Bible
of
study,
being around people,
and worship.
and then worship. Yeah. So those are our 3 ways that you can maintain a tight relationship with God this summer.
Yeah.
If you are doing all 3 of these things already, like, congratulations.
Keep
it
at
up.
it, though.
Yeah, keep it up. But if like that's something on your heart of like, I don't know how to maintain my relationship with God this summer, try these things out.
And also just ask somebody.
Yeah.
Too. Like we don't know everything, but we can offer some advice.
Yeah. So this is the advice we have, but I'm sure like people at your church, wherever you live, will have people who will say similar things or just things that like we didn't say, which are equally as potent and beneficial to you. But yeah, really hope that this is helpful, because I know like now that I've said it, I kind of got to put my money where my mouth is, and so I can't just fall back into laziness.
Yeah. First off, we do have to put our money where our mouth is. Want to say that I am 3 almost 4 weeks clean. Actually, no, 4 weeks clean tomorrow. Full month of Celsius. So I gave it up. I have eradicated Celsius entirely. He can attest to it. I only drink caffeine or coffee.
I can attest to it. He hasn't drinking in almost 4 weeks,
which is absolutely crazy. Like that's straight up like the work of God, the hand of God.
I almost don't even want to like
give me credit because
exactly, like,
bro, it's crazy.
Like
I was slamming Celsius, man. It was no bueno.
Yeah, and you were stealing my Celsius too. And
yeah, well,
that's mainly why I don't want to give you credit, because you just like steal my Celsius and then
but I always replenish them. Always.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, he always replenishes them. But
all right.
Well, we still have the Celsius sign in our room, as some of you may have seen. From
I'll at the end of this, I'm gonna flip it around. We're gonna put the clip in right now. This is the Celsius sign. But yeah, that's it. Online pods from here on out. Then June, we have absolutely something crazy in the works. And I just realized, hold on one second, this is going to blow his mind.
When? Really? Do you have a camera? How are we going to film it?
I have one at home. I have 2.
All right.
So we're going to have the first ever special guest is going to be in person, absolutely crazy. And then we're linking up twice over the summer. So it's going to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, and you guys are not prepared for this.
Not prepared. The location is just really going to be crazy.
Yeah, this is going to be so much fun. But
thank you guys for watching. I don't have anything else.
Me neither. I don't want this to end.
I don't want this to end either, low-key, but I got to piss. So,
all right.
I'm going to go.
Goodbye.